The quickest way to destroy any dynamic group is to label
Praise
it
God.
a cult.
Welcome to a message that is called Cult Hysteria. You may be cultophobic. You may be having chronic cult disease. You may have cultitis. You may have all kinds of cultish characteristics. Or you may be one of those who gets hysterical over the very prospect of a cult. But today, General Jim Green is going to be the teacher, and he's going to teach on the subject of cult hysteria. Now, he has asked me, and I consented to read forth the definitions, first of all, of a cult, and secondarily of hysteria. Now, in the dictionary here, which is a good-sized one, and it's the Random House Dictionary of the English Language, College Edition, it says several things in the definition. Now, it says that a cult is a particular system of religious worship, especially with reference to its rites and ceremonies. Then it says an instance of great veneration of a person, ideal, or thing, especially manifest by a body of admirers. A group or sect bound together by devotion or veneration of the same thing, person, or ideal. Then it says object of such devotion. And then in the sociological definition says, a group having a sacred ideology and a set of rites centering around their sacred symbols. Number 6, a religion that is considered or held to be false or unorthodox or its members. Okay? Now, hysteria. The people who get hysterical over cults, the ones who are pointing their fingers at cults, the ones who are trying to undermine and destroy all cults, to qualify all cults as dangerous, have a problem themselves. Now, the definition of hysteria: an uncontrollable outburst of emotion or fear, often characterized by irrationality, laughter, weeping, etc. So when you see the Bitter Babes cult, which is an anti-cult cult, and you see them weeping about my missing daughter, or about I beat my baby, or about my mom ate peanut butter, you know, these kinds of things, no, they are governed by hysteria.
What is your greatest fear about what's happening to your daughter right now? I'm afraid at night she's wanting somebody to come and get her. I just imagine her crying at night and say, Mom, Dad, why aren't you coming to get me? You understand, she's an adult and she has the right to say she doesn't want to see you anymore. I know.
They're governed by irrationality. They're governed by completely uncontrollable fits of weeping over lies that they have made up. Isn't it interesting? Then you go on here and it says a psychoneurotic. Ooh, doesn't that sound technical? That sounds really good. A psychoneurotic disorder characterized by violent emotional outbursts, disturbances of sensory and motor functions, and various abnormal effects due to auto-suggestion. So, cult hysteria. General Jim?
This is following up on 2 previous messages taught by my wife, 40 years plus, on the cult of the living God. We are not ashamed to be in a cult. This thing was hurled at us ever since we became Christians, basically. When we started this missions training corps, the heat really got started on us. Everybody in Sacramento, California, the media, the Catholics, the dope dealers, the radio people, just about the homosexual community, the politicians, they all got on the bandwagon and wanted to put an end to us there on X Street. And this is what has caused this about a 30-year war. 25-year war on the Px2 files. If you care to look that up on YouTube, this is a continuation of the Px2 files under the term of cults. The first was dealing with our antagonist, Bitter Babes Corps, as my wife calls them, a bunch of young and old women have nothing better to do except hurl words at you, make up lies, stories, fabrications, to extract big sums of money out of us for something that they made up. And all that's exposing right now up on the YouTube. We've waited so many years to say something.
Talk to me, you know?
And that's what this is about. This is a continuation about what is a cult. Everybody is scared out of their pink underwear about what a cult is. Well, as my wife has said, and I'm going to repeat that, just about everything in the world is a cult. Basically, I could say that everything has to do with the definition she read you about what a cult is. It's all there. It's worship of people, places, and things, and rites, and practices and things like that. Following a leader, following an ideal. Even atheism, which, as a matter of fact, is growing.
You've done debates all around the world. Have you ever had a clever or interesting argument from the other side?
Atheism is really stupid. Atheists do not believe there's a God. No. That's really stupid, because why fight against something that you say don't exist? That's kind of dumb, don't you think? Don't you think that's some sort of a phobic mentality they have? Fighting against a God that they say don't exist? Well, if you don't exist, why bother? But that's what atheism is. That's the root of it, is fighting against God. And of course, this clipping just came into me today, or actually yesterday. It says atheism on the march. This was done here just in April at Washington, D.C., 2012. It says it was billed as the largest secular gathering in human history. Now, these are atheists, humanists, people that hate God, hate Christianity, and all this stuff. They gathered at Washington, D.C. on March 24th and then went into April there. It said they gained considerable unity and measure of support and traction in popular culture during the last decade. It says the rally was organized and sponsored by 20 atheist and secular humanist organizations, and then it was attended by Religion Watch. That's the people writing this article here. And to cut it short, Richard Dawkins, everybody kind of in here knows who he is. He's the darling of the atheists out there. He's a pervert that literally hates God. He hates Christianity with a passion. If he had his way, every Christian in the world would be put to death because of this one man hates God. Well, here's what it says about Richard Dawkins of the new atheism. And clearly the main attraction of the event, with the crowd chanting, notice the word chanting, his name as he made his entrance upon the stage. Chanting, venerating this atheist. That is a cult. In that definition, atheism is classified as a cult, along with communism, Hinduism, Buddhism. It's all cult. They're all cults. So why is everybody all shook up about Christianity being a cult? Or, I should say, a little sect out of Christianity, such as us. Why are we terrorizing people? Why have they been trying for years to destroy us? Like they did the people of Jonestown and the people at Waco. And why are they trying to demonize us and destroy us? Because there must be something there we're doing that the devil don't like. They have labeled us, and they have tried to get us to commit mass suicide for literally years. And that's what they said about Jonestown. Now, there's some stuff on the internet right now being put up on this cult, the Living God. It's up there on the Overboard Briggs YouTube channel, and you can go into that and look at that. You can get the background of Jonestown. It was a murder job by the United States government. It was not a mass suicide, period.
So don't think that these things, it just happens. You know, the Waco thing, burning all those people alive, don't think it just happened. It was a mass suicide. It was planned. Don't think the Jonestown thing back in Guyana in the 70s just happened in a mass suicide. They all, you fell in love with this cult leader, Jim Jones, and they all committed suicide. Don't think that just happened that way. It was planned. It was implemented by our own government. They were murdered. That is just now coming out. And it was was all planned for our destruction. So all this has to do with conspiracies. And you say, why conspiracies? Is because God wants us to know about them. Not that we're going to change them, not that we're going to stop them, and not that we're going to live in fear about them. For the main reason that I am bringing this out is because God is telling us the truth. Publish and conceal not. And you publish the way we do through our papers, or you broadcast over the radio like we do and send our videos around the world. However we
and the
get
same
it out.
at Waco, that was not a mass suicide, that was a murder by the United States government. And they just attached, oh, they committed suicide bull. Well, they've tried to get this on us for years. They used to follow us around when we lived in Sacramento and when we moved in Oregon and we moved here, 3 places we moved, they all tried to get us to commit suicide. The latest attack, as you know, came in 2000 when they flew around up here, the helicopters. It was all on TV. Are we a cult that's going to commit suicide at the beginning of the new millennium? It's all there. All these shots from the TV station is on up there on the YouTube. You'll see what they're saying, how they demonize us, hoping we'll do it so their prophecies of doom will be complete. Well, dear one, we're still here. 12 years later, I'm still preaching the same old out of the Bible. So with that said and done, anyway, it's just a little bit of stuff about atheism. It's a growing religion in America. It's actually growing faster than Christianity. Atheism. Now, there are a lot of cults. A lot of cults. Religious cults. There are really actually suicide cults. Jihadists and the suicide people, they're cults. There's cults of religion, there's cults of sectarianism, there's cults of monetarism. People that love money gather their riches. There's cults of power play, one world government, one world order, the elite, all those people in their cult all themselves who want to control the world by mind control, all of that's a huge block of cult. America alone, this nation is a cult. Period. All America is a cult. Because why? It follows a leader, it follows a constitution, it follows the Declaration of Independence, it follows the Bill of Rights and all their little sacred things along. One nation under God, allegiance to the fag and flag, it's all there. It's a cult. So why are we so afraid of cults? Because the media says we should be afraid of them. And as I'm reading here out of some stuff I have written. Now, it's not going the way I planned it, but it doesn't matter. These things I have written long ago, and I have spoken about them, but I'll reread some of this here for your information on what is a cult. The quickest way to destroy any dynamic group is to label it a cult. Now, when Dr. Phil of the Dr. Phil television show group is to label it a cult. Now, when Dr. Phil of the Dr. Phil television show barged in on this community here at Fence Lake, New Mexico in 2006, September the 21st, 2006, when they barged in here, we didn't have a gate up on our driveway. As they all say, well, we're these secluded people, we're barricaded in, we live in this compound, we have all these cameras. There was not even a gate up when those people came in here and barged in on us. We didn't have anything up. They just came right down the driveway, came in here with their camera crew and started filming and wanted to get a big riot going. And one of the TV persons, the leader there, I was not here, my son was here, and you'll see that up on the YouTube, confronted Colonel Phillip, my son, and said, do you know that you're called a cult? It's the most horrible thing that you could be called. Oh, get out of here, friend. There's a lot worse things to be called than a cult. Such as a backslider, an apostate, and a Christian pervert. Those are worse names. A hater of Jesus, and all the time you claim you love Jesus, but you want to destroy other people that are living for Christ, such as our enemies. Not to mention Morris Smear and her bleach blonde daughter, and Attorney Bob Blazer, and some of these great darlings out there that are cult leaders in themselves trying to destroy this cult. They've been on national TVs many times, they've been in the newspaper, been on the radio, they've been on the internet for years trying to destroy us. Well, Mr. Blazer, I have one thing to say to you, sweetheart. When you said you destroyed us, in 1988, we're still here.